Okay.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. Morning. Hi,
Good
Gio.
morning.
Hi, Jessica. Hey, Laura. Hey, Dan. Okay, Geshe-la has just arrived.
So in the Gold Prayer Book, please turn to page 34, and we'll chant Shakyamuni Buddha's mantra 3 times, and then Medicine Buddha verse of praise and mantra, and then the 4 measurables are all on page 34. Te ata mune mune maha munaye Soha. Te ata mune mune maha munaye soha. Te ata mune mune maha munaye soha. Bhagawan, with equal compassion for all, whose name when merely heard dispels the suffering of the lower realms, dispel of disease and the three poisons, I prostrate to Medicine Buddha, lapis light.
Oh, thank God. Maybe like, please, all my friend, remember all the people who are like life has been lost, and all the people who are life has been devastated. Not just people, also animals in Hawaii, and together, all the people who are struggling physically, mentally, wherever there might be, like, please pray for all of them. Okay. So while you're reciting Medicine Buddha mantra, please keep all of that in your mind.
Te ata om bekanze, bekanze, maha bekanze, bekanze, raja samugate soha. Te ata om bekanze, bekanze, maha bekanze, bekanze, raja samugate soha. Te ata om bekanze, bekanze, maha bekanze, bekanze, raja samugate soha. Te ata om bekanze, bekanze, maha bekanze, bekanze, raja samugate soha. Te ata om bekanze, bekanze, maha bekanze, bekanze, raja samugate soha. Te ata om bekanze, bekanze, maha bekanze, bekanze, raja samugate soha. Te ata om bekanze, bekanze, maha bekanze, bekanze, raja samugate soha. And also on the four measurable sound. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from friends and hatred for enemies. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering, the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends or hatred for enemies. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. Okay, then turn to page 37. And we'll chant the verse of praise and mantra for Chenrezig and for Green Tara. First for Chenrezig. Not veiled by any fault, white in color, whose head of perfect Buddha crowns in light, gazing compassionately at all beings, to you, Chenrezig, I'll sing one, I prostrate. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Tare liberates from cyclic existence. Tutare liberates from the eight fears. Ture liberates from all sickness. I prostrate to the liberator, Mother Tara. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 Please turn to page 34, and Geshe-la will lead us in the refuge and bodhicitta prayer.
Sanje Chodan Sochi Chanjo Pardon Name Daki Chishi Dolan Penjo Sanje Chodan Sochi Daki Chishi Dolan Penjo Sanje Chanjo Pardon Daki Chishi Dolan Penjo Sanje Hada Memenaji Sadala Memenaji Yamuda Jajilado Chujulan Jawaja Sanji Sora Rado Jindi Java Tambe Chujin and Dishi Namala Yaga Luna Niji Gandamona Nami Ogunjan Java Tamjaki do Dake Chudet Kange to Zenjas on the Tawa Tamjabo Tambe Chunet. Good morning. Good night. In case you didn't sleep well last night. Good morning. All my friends on Zoom, YouTube, good morning. Maybe first, please, if you don't mind, to take a few moments to introduce to yourself to each other. So then after that, we begin with the meditations. Okay. No, I'm okay. Okay.
How's it going?
Good, good. Oh, man.
Okay, everyone, let's wrap it up and find your way back to your seats.
Thank you. Short meditation. Or someday they will take bullets. Someday meaning like concentrations or focus. That's called someday. Samadhi, Sanskrit samadhi, someday they will take refers to sit. Wherever you are sitting, there should be comfortable one, comfortable. Lune Dundan Denchana. So then there are like 7 sitting positions that you can learn in order to your meditation become productive. So these 7 sitting positions will greatly benefit in order to your meditation become successful or productive. So something is good to look up or maybe ask somebody here. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to explain that. Lungro gutu tadu sounds. Lungro. The energy that we breathe, they are like lung literally means wind. When you talk about the wind element, and that's like a little more subtler than wind that you see blowing trees or things like that. The wind element is, there are many, many different layers within the wind element. So every thought, every our thought comes with that, you could say energy, or role means like wasted, no longer useful. Where that energy goes into our body, so that cause physical discomfort, then that contributed to mental discomfort. So this very technique, 9-round breathing meditations, is to help you to get rid of that wasted energy that's been stuck into your body, to be precise, not in the physical body, but in the channels. The first benefit to removing wasted energy that's been stuck into your channel, which is caused by imbalanced thought. See, thought that is not flexible, not well balanced, uptight. That kind of like waste the energies that comes with their thought for the sake of knowledge. Second benefit here, Rigpa Tangnis, the text that I'm quoting, according to that text, Rigpa Tangnis, Rigpa means awareness, thought, consciousness, same thing, different name, same thing, synonym. Thought, awareness, consciousness, same thing. Of course, within that, there are no like gross, subtle, very subtle. Rigpa Tangnis, Tang means clear. Rigpa, thought, awareness. Some of them clear, some of them disturbance, how you say?
Disturbing.
Yeah, some of them are disturbing. That's called nik. Nik means like, it's like same like garbage. Sorry to say, same like garbage. Tangnis, Tang means pure, or you could say healthy, pure. Rigpa Tangni labor chest. So the second benefit of doing this 9-round breathing meditation kind of has the clearly distinguish between clear thought and disturbing thought, kind of like separates. Separates. So then awareness that you experience like neutral one. So first 9-round breathing meditation, it's good to start with any meditation. It's good to start with 9-round breathing meditations. Or you could just do without using finger. That's hard. Like inhale, exhale, that's not easy. Like I'm not sure how you do it. Like that, like I'm not it's not that easy. But it can be, it's possible that you could do without doing like this, do like that. But I don't know, but it's possible, but I can do, maybe you can do. If you can do, then you don't need to use finger, okay? So now finger, block, left nostril, repeat this 3 times, okay? Long, slow. Then 3 times. That's fast round, fast round. That's fast round. Of course, you need to clean the nose, otherwise precious jewel will come out. So now the second, same 3 times. Inhale. Second round, three breathing. That's called, that's 6. So now the last 3 round, that's called 9 round. So now both inhale, exhale. This is called 9 round breathing meditations. Okay, 9 round breathing meditation. So now after that, appearances, appearance, appearance, appearance.
Appearances.
Yeah, appearances. There is not this is not that. Just appearance, just appearance. Or like here, like that. Just appearance. Okay. So different method how to reach there. Different method. One method, according to the text, samja sambhar. So whatever you are thinking now, maybe we are all thinking something. Whatever you are thinking now, don't think what you're thinking. Just focus. Then focus on the absence of that thought, very thought that you are thinking. Focus on the absence of that thought. The best way to focus on that absence of thought is without concern, expectations. The child looking at things. They see as they are. No comment, no stories like that. So the best way to focus on that absence of that thought is no concern, no expectations. Act like child looking at that. Nothing to analyze, just focus. Now think that absence of that thought is like mirror, infinitive mirror, zero reflections, no reflections. Infinitive mirror, zero reflections. So that mirror is not physical things. It's like space. Anything could reflect, but at the moment there's no reflection, zero reflections. In that mirror, there's like limitless possibilities, such as liberations, enlightenment, all exist there. Limitless, limitless possibilities within that mirror. You becoming deities, you become enlightened beings, you become holy. This is all in that mirror. So that is ultimate nature of your ultimate nature. That's your ultimate nature. It's not physical things. It's like space, like mirror, not physical things. All the possibility exists there. That is the ultimate nature of your thought. How you say, luminosity? Luminosity?
Lu- luminos.
Yeah, luminosity. What do you call-
Luminosity.
What that means? What is that? Explain to me. What is luminosity?
Radiant, shining, clear.
Yeah, Vesawa. Vesawa means like it's see, there's English word I don't know. Probably you know better. So what is it called? Lemon.
Luminosity.
It's not lemon. It's not lemon.
Lumen.
Lemon is like sour. So yeah, so you know that word. Probably you know. You have ideas about what when you hear this word. Make sentence, please make sentence for that word. Please make one sentence.
The sun has the nature of luminosity, shining from within.
Okay, oh, that's good. That's pretty good. Something like that. That. Simji Ranji, Vesawa, Simji Ranji. It's not that nature of mind that you think. That's not what it is. It is pure. Ultimate nature is pure. Infinity possibility is there. Why we can access to that? Because there are so many reflections that are reflected there. So they we just get stuck, and we not just see the reflections. We believe what we see, a reflection, that mirror that we believe there's something absolute. Actually, it's not. Such as seeing yourself as a bad person, on reflection in that mirror, and believing that seeing is not good. Seeing negative things is not good, but believing that even worse. Mm. See, that's the ultimate nature of your thought, your consciousness. This ultimate nature. There's nothing. But it's very possible all kinds of things reflect within that mirror, but that mirror doesn't have to have reflections. It can be just clear, not reflections. After a little while, every reflection you see is positive, just pure. That's all. Just pure. We, as a human, we don't have faith in that ultimate nature. We don't have faith. We don't believe that we possess something like that. How often we thought about that? How often? How often you think about something negative about yourself? That's not how the spiritual journey starts. Spiritual journey start seeing something positive within oneself. Understand? Preciousness in this life. You could achieve all this limitless possibility within that ultimate natures. And first, you don't believe that you have that. You have that ultimate nature. You just think that you are just bad. That's not how the spiritual journey began. Spiritual journey began seeing something positive within oneself. Within oneself. That's very, very crucial, critical, important. Seeing your life as like meaningful, so precious, so meaningful, easy to lose. Make sure that you have responsibility, that preciousness does not just slip through your hand by doing nothing. There is risk. There is great risk. Shunyata, shun, zero, means nothing. Zero means nothing. It's almost like this ultimate nature, like there's nothing. Like seeing the reflection of the moon in the clear lake. It looks like moon. Is that moon? It's not moon. It looks like. That's just an example. There are so many other reflections that you see in this clear lake, which symbolize ultimate nature of your consciousness. You see, of course, that you can prevent to see. You will see. Now the question is, do you believe that it's a moon? It's good to do, this meditation to have some faith in yourself and try to see, moment you wake up, try to see something positive within yourself that feel good about that you possess this ultimate nature. There's infinite possibility within that nature. Any thing, mandala, deity, all could be reflect there. Because this infinity, no, there's no concern about or feeding all of them there. It's infinite. So see the meditation I just mentioned, first do 9 round breathing meditation, that will clearly distinguish between clear thought and the disturbing thought. So then you reach to the neutral thought. Then look at that neutral thought without concern, without expectations. Look at that neutral state of your awareness. Look at that like child looking at things. No story, no comment, just see as it is. Nothing to investigate, just see as it is. That's not how we see things. We become so sophisticated, so educated, we see things with all kind of thought, stories so now you wonder why life gets so complicated. Not because physically cause so many complications. No, that's a thought that cause so many complications in our life. Therefore, it's very important to you to experience the ultimate nature of the thought. You to access that ultimate nature of the thought through meditations. It's very possible. Some human did it. You could do. Why not? Some humans are doing that. Why you can do? If it's knowledge, you can learn. You can learn. Everybody can learn. So I just want to share, just want to share. So now, what time I should stop? Huh? Oh, 12. Then maybe I'll read something from here. Huh? So so then in order to reach within that infinite possibilities, in order to accomplish liberations. What is liberations? Liberating yourself from what? Disturbing thought. So I think it's a good idea. I'm not asking you to believe according to the teaching. I think it's a good idea that we should start to think. The disturbing thought is not benefiting anybody else. It's not benefiting you. You may think that it's benefiting you, but ultimately it's not benefiting. It's impossible how the disturbing thought can be beneficial. It's impossible. So the disturbing thought, seeing that as a true enemy. That enemy, they never takes a break, never go to vacations, never use bathroom. It's always there. Disturbing thought. So now why we get like upset, why we like get irritated, why like somebody getting under your skin that cause you irritations? Why all of that? You can't blame yourself. There's no other solutions. There's no other solutions. Nothing that doesn't help. Need to look deeper. Need to admit I'm not free from disturbing thought. Can act like one. Need to be truthful. I'm not free from disturbing thought. I will get angry, so I have to be more careful. I will get jealous. I have to be more careful. According to Indian Master Vasubandhu, the text called like treasure of knowledge in English. I think chapter number 5, he stated very clearly, first of all, I am not free from disturbing thought. That needs to be understood very clearly. So now there's some ground that you could sympathize with yourself. You could feel sorry for yourself, instead of blaming yourself, criticizing, looking down, beating up yourself. These are all not helpful at all. Now object is close by. No matter who is like getting under your skin, no matter who, your wife, your husband, your friend, your neighbors, doesn't matter, your president, your politician. It's not far away, it's just close by. Now, projections, you project. Sorry, I say word you, but all of us, we project. How horrible this is. There's all kind of word that we use. How dare you? This is horrible. This is like very evil. All kind of word that we use to disturb ourselves. That's all. sorry to say. This is nothing to do with religious belief. This is all fact. See, this is all fact. It's nothing to do with religious belief. Then ask yourself, do you have thought? If you don't have thought, then you are free. If you have thought, so then there's always risk that thought can be turned into disturbing one. That's why we call disturbing thought. Why you call in the first place disturbing thought? It disturb whom? Disturb whom? Prayer will, well, that doesn't get disturbed. It disturb living beings. Project all the conditions is now complete for disturbing thought to rise. It's finished. You can't do anything, it will rise. That's how the disturbing thought rise. First of all, not free from disturbing thought. Second, object close by. Third, project. Then, condition for the disturbing thought complete. When the condition complete, flower grow, everything's like rise. Disturbing thought rise. Something is important to keep in your mind. Something important to keep in your mind. For sake of no religion, sake of your happiness. That's all. Sake of your happiness. That is very much needed for the world peace, peace within the family, peace within the community, peace within the country, peace within the universe. Your peace of mind is critical, needed, very much needed, very much needed. Sake of your peace of mind. I think it's a good idea to learn how not to disturb your mind, protect your mind from disturbing thought. Is that easy? It's not easy. Sorry, it's not easy. It's not a piece of cake. It's not easy. So therefore, Buddhism is very, some people say, oh, there's so much to learn. Sorry, there's no easy answer. If you are seeking liberation, there's no easy answer. It gets complicated. There's no easy answer. If you have one, please share. Write a book, distribute, so we will read. It's complicated. It's not that easy. So that's why there are so many knowledge is being needed. Just believe it's not going to solve the problem. You need wisdom generated by reading, wisdom generated by thinking, wisdom generated by deep thinking. Oh, these are all needed. You have wisdom. We have wisdom. It's not like you have to go somewhere to buy. You have wisdom. Wisdom liberates. Just mere belief is not going to liberate you. It's not, first of all, it's not grounded into reason, concrete reason. It may be grounded on like tradition, culture, or society. If that faith is grounded, deeply rooted in the reason, so then that's called conviction faith. Conviction faith, you are 100% convinced that's the way to go. Well, that faith is very much needed. Having conviction faith towards yourself, for the very spiritual practice that you are about to do, have faith, conviction faith in that, and have conviction faith in this ultimate nature where there's like limitless possibilities. How to access that? So now, like, how I can, if somebody, like now the question is, how to protect your mind? How to protect your mind? If someone say, oh, your hair doesn't look good, how to make sure that word doesn't disturb your mind, how to do that, what we should do. What we should do. If somebody make comment on you, your hair, your jewelry, or your watch, or your muscles, Simje misu namgashins, according to Guide to Buddhist way of life. Simje misu, unreasonable beings, there are so many. You can eliminate all of them. It's impossible. How are you going to do that? Why was that? Complicated, very complicated. So maybe if you study karma, maybe there'll be some help. If you always wonder why this is so why this so chaos, why people are being so angry, why all of that, complicated, very not just complicated, very complicated. How to have some understanding. Simji Mizu Namgashins. It's like unreasonable beings are like vast like space. They're everywhere, not just in the United States, everywhere. You may think, oh, maybe going to Peru, that will be like paradise. Some people can, no, there are unreasonable people there too. No matter wherever you go, same thing, pretty much same thing. Teta Shumji Yong Milas is impossible to eliminate all of them. That's the fact. If you manage to destroy your anger, then it's equivalent of destroying all of them. Same thing. Does that make sense at all? So if they make sense, then please no. It's just a request, no order. For sake of your own happiness, start to think how to manage your anger, and what kind of antidote you needed. Patience. It's not something that it's not something you talk. It's something that you put into practice. Maybe that's the best way to protect your peace of mind. Practice patience. So easy to say, no, because I'm the one who's saying it, but you could say the same thing. So, yeah, please, all my friends need to start to think. Life is not perfect; it's complicated. No matter which direction you look up there, you look at the heaven, not perfect, complications. Liberation, there's no complication, no more complications. It's finished. Then you liberate, means there are no more complications. It's completely done now. Wherever you look. So now you see. So that kind of slowly create the ground to you to practice patience, So then, as I often say, the same thing here. Look around. Nobody wants suffering. Nobody. Thinking, oh, that person deserves suffering is ignorance, is not wisdom. Nobody wants suffering. Even your pet, squirrel in your backyard, bird, rabbit, nobody's looking for suffering. Including yourself. When it comes down to happiness, nobody's content. Nobody content. That includes yourself. You ask yourself, you have answer. What is that? That is the fact. That is the situations that we are all in. Da tang shen la, da you, shen other, cheba yumi. There's no difference. Same thing. Now, what is the best spiritual practice that I can do? Be kind, be compassionate, caring, loving. You get maximum benefit. Philosophically, how? Because everybody likes to be loved. Everybody likes to be cared. Everybody likes to be treated Everybody likes to see something precious. And you are doing that, you get more friends, less problems. Best, just wish them happy. Wish them happy. So this is not a weakness, this is the power. That's the power. That eventually you are going to be energized with that power. So then people say, oh, so and so, she's so loving, so kind, so caring. People talk something positive. Oh, that person is very selfish, only think about his or her own happiness, no regard to any other, the well-being of any other beings. Doesn't sound good. It's not praise, it's criticism. It's not good. So that's where the Mahayana teaching boils down on that, embracing the practice of loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta, mind that wish happiness for every living being, every living being. You always deep down, you always have peace deep down. You always have peace. That's my lifelong missions that I very much like to accomplish. That is the purpose of my life, that I'm living my life with that purpose. So many people get benefited because you're being so kind, so caring, so loving. Like how did nobody get benefit from that? How nobody get benefit from them? So now, whenever you read newspaper, when you see in the park people fighting, they're not fighting out of loving kindness, compassion. They're fighting because they're angry. They're like, then when you see the facial expression doesn't look good. Well, that's the reflection of anger. Looks good. When people are smiling, it looks good because it's like powered by some positive mind. So don't practice that for sake of religious belief. Practice that for your own benefit. That's your moral responsibility that you help yourself. That's your moral responsibility. The best way to help yourself is embrace the practice of loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta. So that's that this topic is about, bodhicitta, and commentary by His Holiness Dalai Lama. But I'm not saying this is no piece of cake. It's not a piece of cake. Now the question is, what is the alternative? What's the alternative? What's the alternative? Ask yourself question, are you want to be happy? If the answer is yes, like how you can achieve that? Second questions. And then read the Guide to Buddhist Way of Life, the Shantideva. The text has been written around 8th centuries, many centuries ago. So then you read, if you're having issue with the anger, then read the chapter number 6. There are like thorough studies been done how to manage your anger. And sometimes I jokingly call this is like anger management program invented by Shantideva. So you read that word by word and think. That is meditation. That is very productive meditation because you think, you think. Any problem that causes by your thought has to solve through your thought, meaning by thinking. Counter thought, anger, patience is thought. It's not physical thing. It's the thought. It's a thought. So then slowly. So I used to be so angry person now. So once I hear last time there's one gentleman that he's been like thinking probably taking his life. I'm not making this up. He says that he studied Buddhist philosophy meditations. Now the thought is disappeared. The thought disappeared. So now he see the importance of like loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta, universal compassion. That's what he says. Like that's what he's practicing nowadays. Compassion to himself. Otherwise, if you just focus on what's going wrong in the world, there are people in Europe, sorry to say, I've been many different parts of Europe. Somehow, moment you met them, they start to talk about problems that we are facing. Meanwhile, practically, there's nothing we can really do much. That's why it's complicated. It's complicated. It's very complicated. It's not you are the one who created that. It's very complicated. So when they talk, they are very angry. They are not like compassion. They are very angry. So then it's become a habit. You only think about disturbing. Only think about the problems. So then there's very little you can do. So need to be like. I'm not suggesting that we should not talk about the problem, but need to understand that practically there's like when you go to India, there are children in the train stations. There's not just one, many of them. You can help them, all of them. So that's the reality. You can help all of them. You should do what you can do. Then that's all. So then if your life become miserable just thinking like that, it's not helping you, it's not helping them. It's complicated. It's very complicated, different part of the world, different problems. Some of them are very much physical problems, not very mental problem. Development countries, developed countries, so many problems related to thought, stress, anxiety, fear, all of that. In the poor countries, there's so much problem with the physical, not having enough to eat, no place to sleep, all kind of problems. And why was that? No, somebody decided. It's complicated, very complicated. So, we can always pray. So we can also pray and encourage people not to get, encourage people or help people to I say to minimize their disturbing thought, and help them to increase positive thought, encourage them to think something wonderful about themselves, about the other people, and encourage them to see the infinite possibility within their ultimate nature of their awareness and share that, so that's the best thing to do, otherwise it's complicated. Okay. Oh, sorry to, there's oh yeah. Yeah. I think that's enough. So I was impacted by antibiotic, huh?
Antibiotic.
Yeah, I've been taking antibiotics, so that's why I cannot stop talking. So maybe I should stop now. Yeah, thanks, Yash. I think that's enough. Let's try it a little bit.
Okay, please turn to page 246, and let's read the dedication prayers from Master Shantideva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. 246. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain a notion of happiness and joy by virtue of our merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled, with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective, and blessed prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may these never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other for as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain. Until then, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Now, page 244, the long life prayer for His Holiness. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you're the source of all happiness and good, all powerful Chenrezig, Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. And then page 245, the long life prayer for Khyentse Rinpoche Jetsun Losang Dao. The one who mastered his speech at a very young age, the one who has great patience, who received the name Amatare, the one who has great precision, who spread the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa on bliss and void, Lama, ornament of the yellow hat tradition, please remain until samsara ends. And now the inside of the back cover. Oh, then green Tara mantras. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the back cover first for a prayer for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of victorious one Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of the infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truths of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great ways of bodhicitta of the children of victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Okay, then we go back, I think it's on page 245, to the Green Tara mantra for Geshe-la and Geshe Sangpo's long, happy, healthy lives. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 Om Tare Tu Re Soha.
So I should go up in front, I guess. Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you, Alexander, translating.
So we invite you to stick around for a little while. We're going to have a special meeting to talk about what's the best use of our building. As Robbie has mentioned, well, a lot of us have been talking about that the COVID pandemic and all the years we've been away have kind of changed the way we do things here at the center. And so we want to talk about how is the best way to use our building and if we want to do any renovations. And I'm going to turn this over to Robbie.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Geshe-la. David Strevel is here. Thank you, David. This is just a very open discussion to hear what people are thinking about Kadampa Center in the post-pandemic era. I think we all realize that things have changed. The question is, how do we move forward using our space to the best advantage here? We're in a good position in that the center is financially stable. For those people who are maybe somewhat new, we own everything here, the building and the space. We have no mortgage, no financial obligations, thanks to some very wise financial handling by our treasurer and others. So we're in a position where we can kind of think about what do we want to do moving forward. There's been some thought that maybe the center should be more oriented towards community events that would bring people in to meet each other, gathering sort of things. You know, I think we all realize that some people are going to stay on Zoom and receive the teachings that way, which is fine. Okay, that's the new reality. Some people will be on YouTube. They won't be physically coming in to the center necessarily on Sunday morning or Wednesday evenings. So the question is, and I'm speaking just on behalf of the board, and I'm not speaking on behalf of Geshe Gallik or anyone, and we have no commitment to do anything. How do we want to move forward? What is going to best serve our community? There is some talk about possibly creating a bigger space for social events or community events outside the Gompa. We kind of reserve the Gompa for teachings. That would involve possibly a more efficient, larger kitchen, possibly in a separate building. You know, we've had problems with mice and other little critters here. That's taken a lot of work. Our kitchen is pretty much non-functional right now, but there's no commitment to anything. We're just looking forward. So we're interested in hearing ideas from anyone who's part of the community who's thought about what Kadampa Center can do to best serve the community. So I'm just going to throw the mic open to anyone who wants to speak.
So if you're in person, obviously just raise your hand. We would appreciate it if you use a mic so that folks online can hear you. If you're on Zoom, you can do the little hand raise or just get my attention. You can unmute and say. If you're on YouTube, you can put it in the chat and I will relay that. So feel free to express and give some thoughts about what you would like to see the direction of the Kadampa Center taking.
I would like to see the availability to have maybe some short and some week-long retreats, if that would be possible.
Here at this location or elsewhere?
Here at this location, is
Okay,
that
so-
possible?
Okay.
Even if it was like 2 or 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
something that would just be nice to have retreats that are available to us.
Okay, that's a great idea to think about renovating the center or doing what we've always been kind of reluctant to have retreats here because of lack of bathrooms. And that's another thing we've talked about, more bathrooms. But have facilities here so we could actually do retreats here. We'd get, you know, having to drive 3 or 4 hours for a retreat is a big commitment. So I think retreats, that's a great idea. Thank you very much. Yeah, anyone else?
I think all of us, or many of us, have been distressed at the mouse and other problems in the kitchen. You know, it's kind of a hodgepodge of cabinets put together, donated cabinets mostly, and a donated refrigerator, whatever the center could get in the past. So I know that those that are involved in food preparation for events we have here are kind of unanimous in thinking we at least need to remodel the kitchen, and even if we don't change its size. And so we could have more events with food. Like years ago, we used to have, I believe, once a month, a little lunch type event after the teachings, and it just enabled people to socialize more And that, to me, that seems like one of the big goals.
Thank you. Yes, a functional kitchen, yes. Not necessarily all stainless. We talked about this some, about whether it needs, how commercial it needs to be, but something that's functional for events here at the center, yes.
Well, I like the thought process of retreats and the things like that, because it's what is our community looking for, right? Which is why we're having this discussion. And in order to have the things like retreats and community events, whatever those events are, whether it's retreats, more teachings, hangouts to come together more, Dharma friends, we have to have the infrastructure that will allow that to happen in this building. And so the retreats is the goal, right? That's one of the goals. But the infrastructure would be to have at the retreats. One of the reasons that we don't have them is because we don't have the right kitchen to be able to do the food, to be able to have the restrooms, to be able to have a place where we could come. So I love that as being the goal, one of the goals of what we're trying to do, create the infrastructure that will allow us to do those types. So that's why we want to have these talks in here, because when we know what you're looking for and what we're looking for as a community, then we can start to create the infrastructure that allows us to accomplish those things, right? But we have to have some of these infrastructure items in place in order to be able to do that. That's why we haven't been able to do it. We've tried it in the past and slept on the floor and, brought in porta potties and stuff, but
When my kids were young, we belonged to a church in Florida, and we would have a weekly meal. It was a large church. I think it was First Baptist. But people would always bring in something, right? So, I mean, that would be helpful since the kitchen is a problem. Everybody brings something.
Yeah, that's something pre-pandemic, we used to do was potlucks. And again, after the pandemic, we're kind of recreating thing. But even with potlucks, the non-functionality of the kitchen was an issue. And then I think the fact that we didn't have a place to clean dishes appropriately and put leftovers led to the mouse problem. It's all karma. Yeah, you create the causes for mice, they will arise. Yes. Dr. Brown.
There are ways to create the karma for the mice to not come.
That's what from here moving out, we're trying to not create karma for mice. Yes.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting timing wise, because yesterday afternoon, I have a couple of points, but dealing with the mouse point, for some reason, my house has been, anyway, the mice have come to my house in a big way. There's mice about the house. Anyway, I had a guy from Terminex come by at 3:00 yesterday afternoon, talk about perfect timing, and he climbed under the house and he showed mice only need 1/4 of an inch gap to get in, okay? So he found, wires where wires went in and plumbing went in. He said and he showed where they were, sleeping in the insulation, stuff like that. So the point where he wanted to go with this is stop the mice from getting in. And so that's what they can, a professional organization like that can, they can put out bait to kill them, of course, and that's something we want to avoid. But there are ways to stop them from getting in, and then gradually we catch the ones. But by the way, he said once they breed, 30 days later, the mother has 10 babies. Half of them are girls. 30 days later, the girls are ready to breed. And it just goes like that. It's really, they can take over a place very quickly. Mice aside, but that's one option, is to get somebody in here professionally to help demice the place. But it might need to be done again, or at least take a look at it. But I mean, I'm just throwing it out. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you haven't done anything, but I'm saying there may be some blind spots that we don't see. The other thing that just a quote from the Buddha. Apparently, the Buddha said this. I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure. But Ananda asked the Buddha. He said, it seems to me that at least half the spiritual path has to do with sangha, community, or people, and the Buddha said, no, Ananda, 100% of the spiritual path has to do with people. So we have to take care of our people. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. It's not just Buddha, Dharma, the Sangha. So I think because of the pandemic, our Sangha has been, at least the part that people that come here have been somewhat decimated. I know people are still, benefiting from Geshe-la's teachings and other teachings that go on here from afar, but in terms of just friendships, relationships, and stuff like that, and it requires being, I think, for the most part, face to face, seeing other people. And so anything we can do to help cultivate a stronger community. I mean, the schools are open now, children are without masks. The world's sort of getting back into a more normal mode. And I think people who may be afraid to come here because of potential infection. I mean, the virus is not as lethal as it was. Robbie and I see this at our practice. The people who get COVID have more like flu-like illness, or even a cold, or even less. There are people that die from COVID, just like they die from the flu, but people don't necessarily need to be so fearful of coming back. And I know some people still will be, but that's just, my opinion. And I think last but not least is the children's program. It's very sad to me. I mean, I know I talked to Donna about it and Linda about it, and it's the children's program was such a big part of our center before the pandemic, and now I think, we don't have any children coming, and we don't have any. And the key to the children's program were the parents who had children, and they wanted them to have at least the essence of a Dharma education in terms of the 16 guidelines at the very least. And I would love to see the children's program have be resurrected in some form or another. I think it's going to require parents being comfortable, being here themselves. And it's a nice thing if parents drop their kids off and can come here and get the teachings and pick up their kids and go home. That was always a nice thing.
Yeah, the lack of a children's program, I think, is a huge issue. It's always dependent on one or two people who are incredibly committed to running it, because the administrative side of it behind the scenes is enormous. And we had Valerie Jones, and then we had Aaron, and then we had Christy. And right now that's a gap. But if anybody wants to step into that void, because that's what it takes one or two or three people who are committed to it. And it could start off quite small, just a Sunday morning group for a certain age group. If anybody feels a call in that direction, we are very open. You can speak to me or to Donna or to Sandy or to Linda. Yes, because
and you mentioned starting off small. We can start off very small and do
Linda,
something.
Linda was very involved. I left you out. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
She was basically a co-runner of the children's program also at
But
one point.
once a month even, start that small. And because once something gets started, it's likely to grow. I do have a comment from someone on YouTube who is saying supporting virtual retreats alongside in-person retreats would be great to continue reaching all the community members locally and beyond, because we do have a very broad community now. It's not just here in the Raleigh area.
So there's a strong request for facilities, both in person and online, for retreats. Yeah, which is very, very useful information for the board to hear. Okay.
I think we're kind of dancing around, do we need to make the building bigger?
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. David has brought some plans. If you can just give us an idea, if that's the direction we move, and that's not, there's no commitment on what are the possibilities that we have here on this location, because there are a lot of zoning requirements. David, if you could just tell us what we have available to us, and their easements and everything. We just can't build a massive structure here.
Okay. Well, it may look like we have a big gravel yard out to the side here that we could use, but in fact, about 2/3 of that space is all consumed by legal easements for sewer pipes, water drain pipes that run under it, that drain the whole railroad underpass over here. And there's another easement that allows the city to install a water line and sewer line over across under the railroad track. They've never used it, but they have refused to take it off the books. So, but we do have buildable space. It goes out about 50 feet from the side doors here, and it's in the shape of a triangle. It goes over to the corner of the building over there, and it's about a 50-foot triangle on the side, 50 feet on the side. So we could definitely create quite a lot more space, and I believe it could be 2-story if we wanted. So yes, if we wanted to do a design, we could have it go out the side door there into a second building, or have it look like part of this building, I think.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Comments?
Speaking just from the experience of trying to organize and offer spiritual programs here for a long time, I'm very excited that we're opening up this conversation so that, we because as David mentioned with the kitchen, except for building this room and then later building the nursery, a lot of what we did here was we were just sort of barely able to buy the building and afford to do basic renovations when we came. And now that we've been here for 13 or 14 years and we have some experience of what we're trying to do and what some of the limitations are, it's really exciting to think that we can start thinking about, now experientially, what do we need in terms of storage, in terms of space that can be used flexibly, so that we have, large areas. We've got a classroom building that has been dedicated solely to being used for an hour and a half on Sunday morning for the children's program. So if we can use all of the space that we do have flexibly and design it flexibly so that we can have retreats and there's space for people to sleep and there's enough toilets for them to use and there's, maybe a shower, something like that. If we have all these things that we can start thinking in broader terms about what we can offer, I'm really excited about those possibilities.
I was wondering about the possibility of expanding the Gampa space. When Ken Rinpoche was here, there were events where there weren't enough seats for everybody to fit into the room. And I recall when Lama Zopa was here a long time ago, some people sat in the lobby and watched him projected on the screen, which is a little different from being in the Gampa in the presence of the teacher.
Yeah, everything's a possibility. I mean, if we decide to expand outwards, then we can reconfigure all of this space back here where the office and kitchen and nursery are, and possibly, churches have things where you have sliding walls where that space becomes available to the Gampa when you need it, but it's available for other uses the rest of the time. So thank you.
I would like to recommend that everyone start playing Powerball with bodhicitta motivation. No, I had this. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I mean, I've imagined this. I think I've even talked to Geshe about it maybe once. But what about building an amazing, beautiful facility, brand new, that literally inspires you to look at it? There's some, for example, in New Mexico, they're building a new center out there that is fantastic. I've watched the videos of it. I mean, it's amazing and inspiring. So I'm just saying, the seed of having, like, this facility is great, and we could figure out a way to move the stupa. That was a big issue for a while, but eventually we might have to. But if we could build a place that was really exactly what we wanted and inspiring to look at and be in, and have it all, why not? So Powerball with bodhicitta would be one way, or maybe somebody's got a lot of money. I don't.
Gambling. I've often thought the space where the trailer is, the kids' building, is the biggest space we have. The building, the building, the classroom building is something that is the least expensive architectural of materials that that is available. So if that was raised, then you could build a 2-story place there and take up as much footprint as you could, with knowing everything we want to do with, the holy objects we want to have in the shrine or whatever we build. Take up as much footprint as you can that's non-permeable, and then go 2-story, and then you can have your kitchen on the ground floor, or you can have meeting space, and the classrooms can be upstairs. And then you have that's kind of how I was raised in the Lutheran church. You have all the classrooms above, and then you can have more bathrooms over there, and it's the best space we have, because adding on is tiny. It's not a very usable space. Then you could reconfigure, you just take out the kitchen, and then you can just go back. You just take out the kitchen here, and you don't even have one in here. Start new with mouse-proof architecture.
Yeah, some people may not have heard, but Geshe-la's recommendation is to leave the Buddha statue here where it is in the lobby. So we are not committed to creating a Buddha garden outside. So we have some flexibility there. He says the Buddha looks very happy where he is here.
Well, having hosted a number of events here, I love that idea, Jill, because one of the challenges in hosting events, besides the fact that we have an itty bitty kitchen, and then you're trying to walk with hot food, past the bathrooms and while somebody's trying to get something from the spiritual storage. That's always fun. But this space right here is very difficult in hosting social community activities. If you've ever been to a Sunday tea or anything and noticed how difficult it was for us to even provide areas for food just to offer. And there's not enough electrical outlets. So when everybody shows up with their crock pot, you should see the number of power strips that we've got going around here. So the idea is kind of neat because that way we can have the classroom and social spaces if we need to, because that's one of the biggest challenges here is that if you've ever hosted anything, it's crowded and it's very difficult to move around and there's nowhere to like sit and eat and put your food. So I am all for any idea of expanding some space for fluidity, but also expanding space for functionality.
I mean, if you look at most churches, they have the sanctuary, but they also have a big social hall. They don't do their social events in the sanctuary. So you really, most organizations feel that the two are equally important, and we're really deficient on the social side right now.
Kim Lillig, you can unmute and share.
Hi, everybody. I'm totally with Dawn. I think, thinking out of the box is tremendous, and go big, go bold. And if you build it, they will come. I really believe that as well. At the same time, I think it's really important that we think about how we define community. And what I've heard today a lot is how we take care of the community that we have right now. But I'm also wondering if we are interested in expanding that community to the larger community in which we are a part. Elise has done an incredible job of having an outreach ambassador, if you will, from our center. But I think it's been a tough uphill climb. And I think that there are many people who could benefit from us being more approachable, having more things that are not as difficult as sometimes it seems like when you start with Mahayana Buddhism, as I did. And so I don't know how we feel about that. So I think one of the things is thinking about a great new building is wonderful, but I think at the same time, we need to have a good, solid definition of what we really want as community.
And to piggyback that, someone on Zoom also mentioned that when Venerable Rabina was here, she had mentioned, that we could do a cafe or sell baked goods and coffee and, have other activities happening here to bring people in, even, throughout the week. So that's another idea.
Okay.
And
Thanks.
Allie on YouTube says she would like to help out with the children's program once a month. Yay! Everyone is clapping.
Thank
Allie.
you. Question about parking. Yes. Does the number of parking spaces limit our ability to expand?
Yes, it does. The building code requires a church to have a certain number of parking spaces, and it's based on the size of the main gampa, or worship space. And so
it says in the main gampa, is that in the code?
The main. No, I think they call it the worship space or something like that. But anyway, what it means is, you take a certain number of square feet in here and you multiply it out by a factor that's in the building code. And it tells you we have to have 18 parking spaces. What do we have? 18. The architect that we had years ago squeaked us in by absolutely maximizing the size of this gampa. And it's very hard to think of where, given the property we own here now, where you'd put more parking. I mean, yeah, you could maybe tear out a little more of the lawn. It all seems pretty undesirable. You could have taken the classroom space and devoted that to parking. That doesn't seem very desirable. So that is quite a crunch where, you know, you can either own the space that the parking spots are on, or you can have a contract with another building owner, like next door, if we could do it. But you have to show City Hall you've got a written contract for like years and years that say you're going to be renting this space and that's your legal parking. So that's an issue if we try to expand the Scampa even by 1 square foot. That's correct. Yeah, we can do anything to remodel the space out there. I believe, you know, a building code, you know, will allow that. And of course, we could add, we could build an additional building, or we could probably rebuild the classroom. We could take it out and rebuild it, all without affecting, because for a church, the number of parking spaces is linked to the size of the worship area.
Any other comments? Geshe Gellick, do you have anything to say? Your antibiotics.
One more. If there is anyone who would like to work with Allie to revive the children's program, just let me or Donna know, and we will put you in touch. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, really, if people commit to 1 Sunday a month, that's very doable for a lot of people who come regularly. So if it involves someone taking the reins, and yeah, so that's great. Thank you. Sandy.
And if we're talking about community and doing this, if anybody's interested in doing 1 Sunday a month as a community potluck or gathering while we're trying to get this started again and get our community gathering again, maybe we start small with that again while we start to work on that. So if anybody's interested in helping to plan and organize and figure out all the details that would be necessary to do a 1 time a month potluck, again, come see me.
Okay, great.
Last Sunday, I looked at Brian, he's not here today, and said, "Do you want to go to lunch?" And 15 people came. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yes.
And it was so much fun. So there's also ways that you can gather together and keep the community going, and it doesn't have to all be here. We had a blast.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Any other comments before we close? Thank you very much. Thank you, Allie, and those who will follow her into the children's program. I think the idea on making whatever we do, making it functional for retreats is a fantastic idea, something that we hadn't even thought about, and all the other ideas are great to hear. So thank you very much, everyone, for your participation.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, folks on Zoom, YouTube, here in the Gampa. Thanks for sticking around and sharing your thoughts. We'll see you next week, if not sooner.